And when the evening comes, we fly.
What is up, you guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel this week. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm in a new little spot here in my house. I'm trying out a new background. Tell me if you like this better than my room, because I think it gives off a more like manly vibe. I don't know. Anyways, today I wanted to go over some of the places that I shop, how I go about shopping, what I look for when I go shopping. And maybe this will give you guys some help. Maybe it'll give you some new places that you haven't really gone to, or maybe it'll give you some just some ideas on how you can get some good things for good prices. First and foremost, I want to say that I don't really buy anything retail. I strictly almost shop sale because it's on sale and you get the best bargain. So I don't usually spend retail for anything. I'm primarily a sales shopper. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. The first place that you guys know I love, and I know might not get a lot of love from other people, is going to be Zara. I know that is a fast fashion house. I know that they just produce a lot of stuff. I know they've had a lot of issues in the past with wages and everything like that. But all that set aside, I do like the style of clothing that they produce. It resonates with me. It gives me kind of the style that I go for, a little bit more contemporary when I mix it with my whole little vintage classic vibe. So yeah, Zara gives you guys a great alternative to what's going on trend-wise, and also in like the big fashion houses or what you see on the runway. They like to take a lot of those concepts and kind of, I guess you could say, mock them or make them their own and produce them at they are going to be lower quality, but you also are going to be paying less. There are some items in there that you do pay quite a bit for, like their coats range from $100 to $200, but the majority of the coats that I have from Zara were all on their end of the year sale, and they were like 89 bucks. And I mean, why not? They have an amazing look, they have a great cut, they have a awesome style, and I love a good coat, so I'm always gonna buy from there. Next up is going to be Barneys New York or Barneys Warehouse, whatever one you guys prefer. A lot of the time when I go and look there, like for instance the black Mason Margiela boots that I got, they're like the tuxedo boots, I got those on the Barneys Warehouse sale. Originally like $1,100, I got them for $200. So they are, Barneys Warehouse in particular has a lot of pretty much just their overstock. It's their sale site pretty much. And what I really love about it is it's going to hold a lot of designer quality pieces there. It's going to have also their own Barneys brand as well mixed in. But what I like about it, when it goes on sale, they usually have a sale on top of a sale. So for instance, those boots were so cheap because they were 70% off plus an extra 30% off. So I was like, duh. Like, you're never gonna find a better deal than that. Like, that's so much off. But yeah, so Barneys is a good place to go because it is going to have that higher quality items, but for a way discounted price, and they're going to be brand new as well. So that is where I go when I want to kind of splash a little bit for a designer piece or just a more high-end piece, but it doesn't break the bank because it's heavily discounted. Next up is probably my favorite site. It's going to be Farfetch. Farfetch is essentially just this huge marketplace boutique shop place that has all these different items, especially from designers, like a lot of these little boutique designers and also the big name designers like Saint Laurent, Gucci, Givenchy, all these other places like are on there, but then they have the other smaller brands as well that you guys have probably heard of. There's a lot of street style on there, but there's also a lot of like Mr. Porter, Gap, sophisticated style as well, and that's what resonates with me. A lot of the other coats that I have are from Farfetch. A lot of the more jackets that I have are from Farfetch. But I primarily stick to the sales there because they do have a part of the site where it's not on sale, and they are ridiculously expensive. I'm talking like $4,000 coats. So I don't really spend anything more than like $400 on Farfetch because it could just start hurting your pocketbook a lot. But make sure you go to their sale part, because the sale is where it's at. That's where I go. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, is Grail. Grail is essentially, if we haven't heard of it, Grail is just a huge peer-to-peer marketplace. It's almost kind of like eBay, but more of like a high-end streetwear or just high-end designer or place where somebody has an item that they want to sell, and they're gonna sell it on Grail. This is a great place where you can get used items. Nothing wrong with a used item. The moment you wear your piece of clothing, it is used. So I don't see the issue with buying used items or used clothing from places like Grail or eBay or something like that, because eventually it's gonna get used eventually. So you might as well. It's a win-win if you buy it used and for a way cheaper price than it would be new. So check out Grail. They have a lot of amazing items. They're gonna be used and heavily discounted because they're used. So you can check that out as well. They've got shoes, jackets, tops, whatever you want. They're all there. Other than that, everything else is pretty much thrift or vintage stores around my area. San Francisco has a lot of them. I can't stress enough to you guys how important it is to go check out your local thrift store or your vintage shop. You can find so many steals in there. For instance, there's a place called Wasteland. It's in San Francisco and in LA. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but here it's basically like a designer consignment store, so it's gonna be used vintage designer pieces. I got 3 pieces of Dior for $250 total, and that includes a trench coat, like a jacket, and some pants. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take these, and they're vintage. So I mean, there are so many places where you can find amazing steals right in your own backyard. So go check them out. And even if they aren't designer stuff, you can find like shirts there for $3, and that might even be overpriced, $2. Check out your thrift store. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with buying used. It just gives it a little more character, and it's already worn in, so it's a win-win. You can just search eBay. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just type in whatever you want and it will pop up. Vintage fedora, vintage jackets, vintage coats, military coats. It'll be there, and you can usually get them for a pretty good price. Alright guys, so that is essentially where I shop, and that is how I go about shopping. There's probably some places that I missed, or everything else might just be sent to me. Just being honest. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I hope this gave you a little bit of a insight on where you could go if you didn't know of any of these places that I talked about, and just go out there and get some stuff that resonates with you. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.